Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Realtors Roundtable. We switched it up today. We are not at Keller Williams Legacy today. We are at the new spot in town, the world-famous Egg Bar. Karl, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me, Nick. I appreciate it. It's your pleasure just as much as mine.
Thank you.
Lucky number 7, episode 7. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Lucky number 7.
It's an honor.
The honor's ours.
Thank you.
So, Karl, I look at Dearborn. I think Dearborn, in all seriousness, should be the business capital of America. I think it's the way people improvise, the way people come up with new ideas, the way they run a business, the way it's competitive, no matter what business it is. I think it's unmatched when it comes to any other city in America. And Robert Saleh, who's one of 32 coaches in the NFL, said, I come from Dearborn, Michigan, where if you make it in Dearborn, you can make it anywhere in America. And with that being said, we're here at Egg Bar with, in my opinion, as cutthroat as this city is, the Michael Jordan of the restaurant industry in our era of Dearborn.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
I mean,
that's my favorite basketball player.
Is it?
Yes.
So, I mean, It's an honor to be here, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So
I would agree with you.
You would agree with me in the regard that you're the Michael Jordan?
No, that's for you to say, not for me to say. But I agree with you that Dearborn is a business capital, restaurant capital. There is a lot of competition. They're all doing well and thriving. I think it's its own economy, and
it really
no matter
is.
what's going around, any kind of little disaster we have around the country or the world, I feel like Dearborn is still self-sustained.
100%. Whether it's real estate, whether it's business, no matter what it is, it's its own economy. I mentioned that before. It's like the money just circulates.
It does.
You know, we all support each other. Egg Bar opens, and everyone's here, lined up out the door.
Sure.
You know. So we're at Egg Bar.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how it's been opening. First of all, explain a little bit about what took you so long to open, and why were you so certain that you wanted to wait until everything was perfect?
Well, I mean, it wasn't perfect. I was almost ready, but ready enough.
Yeah.
Right. So, at a point, you get to the point where you got to open to see the feedback,
right?
To see the adjustments you got to make, to see the bottlenecks that you have on the line or behind the barista line. And I went through all that, and we did have some bottlenecks, even though we thought we were prepared, but not prepared enough, right?
Yeah.
But we made those adjustments every day. We changed some equipment out already. We changed some techniques out already. We got a little bit better of a schedule for our staff here. And in the beginning, if you notice, we opened only 4 hours the first week.
Yeah.
12 to 4, and then we did 10 to 4, and then we did our normal hours of 8 to 4, just so we could adjust, because we didn't want to open and just money grab, because that wasn't the point. That's never the point when I open a business or my team members.
So when a business opens for the first time, I think they underestimate the importance of a first impression. A first impression is huge. So when I talk to you the few times before you open, I'd say, Karl, when you're opening, you'd say, when we're ready, not ready, when we're ready. So I think that goes to show, why the operation is. I mean, how many people did you have here the first few days in the kitchen? It's visible, it's open.
Yeah, probably 20 people.
20 people. Yes. I think most businesses probably would have 4, 5, 6, but is that how you guys operate? Do you
We had butterflies, right?
Yeah.
We all had butterflies.
Yeah.
Anytime you get in a fight, you could ask Mike Tyson. He had butterflies and he would knock people out, right?
Right.
Well, it's good to have butterflies, because those butterflies turn into fire.
Uh-huh.
And with that being said, we just want to be prepared. We didn't want to undercut anything. We didn't want 30-minute ticket time, which we ran into. So, every time we see the red on our kitchen display screens, we all panic, because
what's the red?
Red, it means you're over 15 minutes now.
Okay.
And you should never, especially in a QSR, quick service restaurant, you should never be over 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with your flow of business coming in. You might have to tailor that a little bit. Or there's something wrong with your system where it's taking longer than expected to get those sandwiches out. And the first time we opened with the panini press for our bread. It was drying out our bread. It wasn't giving it the value that should have been given it. Remember, our bread is a shokupan Japanese milk bread.
Okay.
And all our bread here is European gluten. So it's all imported from Paris. Like, that's something that I want to highlight sooner than later, because I feel like that would definitely put the value behind our price point, right? Because it's a lot more digestible. People don't understand that American gluten actually has glyphosate in it.
Wow.
Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup, the weed killer.
Oh my God.
So that's American bread and American starch.
Hold on, what kind of bread has Roundup?
A lot of bread in America.
Really?
Yeah, probably 80% has glyphosate.
What's this?
Glyphosate is an active ingredient in Roundup. So, yeah. So,
That's crazy.
So that's why people feel bloated. That's why people feel sluggish when they eat bread. Over here, our bread is European gluten. Yeah, you're going to feel stuffed because it's bread, right? It's carbs, but at the end of the day, you're not going to feel sluggish or bloated.
For sure.
Which is great. You know, our sandwiches here will carry you till 4 o'clock, and you won't feel sluggish. But again, you'll feel full. And our price point, I think, is where it needs to be. And you know, we tried our best to get our bread costs down, but it's made by our own baker, our own partner.
Is it baked here and
No, it's baked off premise.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, the guy that's baking my bread is a good friend of mine, and he's a well-known chef. You know, I think he's one of the best in America.
Really?
He's a Paris German chef. He went to school in Paris, yada yada yada. But you know, funny thing is, a week later, somebody called him for the same bread I have, so they could open up an egg sandwich, which was funny to me and flattering. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know, somebody found our concept unique and wanted to do it. And the reason why we brought something like this to Dearborn is because Ray had an original thought, and so did I. We were thinking telepathically, and then when I met Ray, you know, I brought my team on, Tony and Mo, and we created a partnership together.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
We're gonna get into that because
Definitely.
to do as much as you guys are doing, you have to have a good team.
Of course.
But there's something I want to go back to. You said a few minutes ago. You said that you get butterflies because and that butterflies turns to fire. But you guys still performed. And someone asked me the other day, one of the agents on my team, and he asked me about like getting nervous. He was nervous for an appointment, and I told him, you really only. It's okay to get nervous, but when you know you're prepared, you'll be okay. You really get more nervous when you're there when you're not prepared. As long as you prepare, how you prepare is how you care. And if you're prepared, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you got to check mark everything. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready.
Check mark everything.
That's it.
Absolutely.
You go with the flow then.
Absolutely.
You got to wing it. You got the knowledge. You got the, you know, all the information you have. That all should be, you know, carried over, and it should be nothing but a spectacular outcome.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You mentioned a lot of people on your team. You mentioned, I think, 3-4 partners. What can you say about how do you guys work together? Like, how is it important to, what do you look for? How is it important to know you guys mesh together?
Visions, the way we speak to each other,
Okay.
respect level we have for each other. That's
Okay.
very important. If we can't respect each other, that's a X right there.
Yeah.
And what we bring to the table, you know, everybody brings something to the table. There's commitments made by each and every one of us. Some of us work here and take a salary. Some of us don't work here and don't take a salary. And we're all okay with that. You know, even though in one day we get this place flowing or in cruise control, you know, there'll still be 20, 30 hours of work that we do each a week that we don't get paid for no more because we're not a part of the system no more and a part of the operation, the everyday, day-to-day operation. We're in the back, behind the scenes, you know? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes. There's limited time offers that you got to create to keep it hot, to keep it relevant, right? Limited time offers are like a new sandwich for the month, a new drink for the month, and keeping up with the market, keeping up with the trends, you know, and you got to do that. So there's research and development, there's marketing, there's branding, there's hiring, recruiting the right people, giving the right people the right opportunity. We want to build within our company. We want our own employees to franchise from us or become store owner operators. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for within our group and within the trenches, people coming in, you know, coming out as leaders within our trenches.
100%. We believe, especially at the Keller Williams in general, you said if you find a place to put them where they can succeed. So a lot of people are very hard on picking a specific team member or employee or whatever the case may be. We believe that if you find someone who's talented and you have the same vision, like-minded, find them, put them somewhere.
Of course.
You also mentioned, franchising. Do you plan on franchising Egg Bar? Is this the first? Is Egg Bar? Are you one of one?
One of one.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the way we branded, the way we designed it. This was supposed to be our flagship store.
Okay.
And now, not to say that this is going to be this big somewhere else. It might be a little bit on a smaller scale. We want to make it a good price point where people can afford to open up an Egg Bar. We want to make sure the profit margins are right. We want to make sure that we're giving somebody something solid, something that's, you know, that they could duplicate and live off for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're providing them with all the resources and tools they need.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your timeline on that? When are you looking to franchise?
So I say, you know, after 6 months of being open here, I think that it would be a good time for us to open another one. I think that the longer we wait, the longer we're going to be second to the first person that does it, right?
Yeah,
So there's going to be another person that does an egg place. We're not worried about that. We wish everybody the best, right? Because you want everybody to do good because you want to do good, right?
Sure.
So you got to wish what you want for you for other people too.
100%.
But the thing is, you told me why did I wait so long? Because we tasted eggs for 18 weeks.
Wow.
18 weeks of tasting eggs.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. We made sure we were branded before we opened. We had our boxes. We had our paper that was houndstooth, like our wallpaper behind me. We had our bags that looked like you were leaving a jewelry store in Neiman Marcus. Everything, we gave it a bougie approach, which is what we were going for, and that's why the high quality is in the food, the high quality is in the branding, the high quality is in the service, because everything's got to match. It's all a dotted line of that. If your dots don't match, your dotted line is not dotted all the way across, it doesn't make sense. There's a blood clot.
100%. How you do something is how you do everything.
Exactly.
So service, how you communicate with someone, how the food tastes, it's all got to be 10 out of 10. I agree 100%.
Of course.
In the restaurant business, and I was telling you before we're on camera, I was in the restaurant business for about 3-4 years at Lava, and it's not easy.
No.
It's really not easy. You really have to be on top of it, whether it's food costs, whether it's service, whether it's ordering, whether it's being in the kitchen, there's so many aspects to handling a business. I don't think everyone realizes that.
No.
I think people think like, I've heard it so many times, I want to open a restaurant, it's Dearborn, everyone does good. I want to open a restaurant. What are some things that you think makes you guys successful in the restaurant business?
Well, it's the research and development,
Yeah.
right? Building systems.
Uh-huh.
Like you told me you were at a restaurant. I didn't know you were at the Lava Lounge,
Yeah.
right? Because I didn't go at that time to Lava.
Yeah.
I had my hookah debut way back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But that Lava Lounge, when you were there, that was the peak of Lava Lounge.
It was.
There wasn't a lot of people that were around you that are around you now there.
Correct.
In that area, right? So what you did there was remarkable. And for you to have that experience, I think it built you in the real estate world.
It did.
Because you learned how to deal with a lot of personalities. But go back to what it takes, right? Systems are important. Structure is important. If you don't have those things, if you don't have uniforms, if anybody wears whatever they want, like we pick the pants that they're going to wear. They can go buy them, right? We give them options. Non-slip shoes, black non-slip shoes. Those are important to us. They slip and fall, we're out of an employee, right? So somebody with their hair tied back, if they're working with food, with a hairnet on, with a hat on, a bandana, whatever the case may be, whatever your uniform is, should be held 100% every single shift. If they don't come in uniform, we either, make sure we provide them with something that we have on hand, or we send them home.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you can't wear your uniform, you can't cook my food. How are you going to follow directions if you can't follow the first direction in entering this place? And we don't allow phones in our business.
Ooh.
So all phones are put away.
Where do they put them? They put them in the
Lockers.
office? Oh, really?
Lockers.
You have lockers here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Every one of the places I've been to has a locker.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
For their phones, because I think phones are our biggest distraction. And I lead like my team. So if I tell them to put away their phone, I'm putting away my phone. And they're like, what do I do if I have an emergency? I'm like, let them call Egg Bar. Hopefully, pray to God, you never have one, right?
Yeah,
I pray to God, nobody has an emergency.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but it's we put it away because it's a distraction. Now they want to go check their phone, they're allowed to. But I just think it's the customer's time and the customer's money, and you got to focus on that and perfect their food and perfect your craft.
So we talked about Egg Bar, but Karl Makki is known as the Avenue American Bistro guy. So like my dad he's very hard guy to impress. He's very simple, and he's East Dearborn, Elamir, Hajizaki, that's his place.
Yes.
But when I say like you want to go to Avenue all day, so like I told him today I'm going to shoot a podcast.
Yeah.
He said, who's going to be with you? I said, Karl Makki, the guy, the Avenue American Bistro guy.
Yeah.
He said, oh yeah, that guy's a winner. He's going to do great.
That's awesome.
When you go to Avenue American Bistro,
I met him there.
yeah, you did. When you go to Avenue American Bistro, what's so impressive to me is I'm very intrigued by something that's the same every time. When you walk into the establishment, you walk up, the person who greets you is the manager. That person's walking you to the table. That person will give you the menu. Someone will come take your appetizers and drinks. Someone will then come be your waiter or waitress. Am I right?
You're right.
Every
It's a Disney World approach.
every single time, never missed.
Yep.
And I used to pay attention because there's nothing that I'm more intrigued by than a great business. And I'm looking, and it's the same thing every time. And the most amazing thing about it is, if you are missing something, and you ask someone who's not your server, they never roll your eyes. They never roll their eyes. They never give you an attitude. They're always happy to do it. I think that's a culture that's very hard to match.
It is.
You know? So in the real estate, on our team, we call it the 4 seasons customer service, the 4 seasons approach. And I think you guys really do that in all of your businesses.
And it was done by accident. You know, it was done by time, right? So I would do something, check it off my list, do something else, check it off my list. I was ridiculed and actually laughed at when I had that approach. A lot of people that joined my team that would be new hires, they're like, why do you have a manager greeting? I'm like, because my manager should be my hostess, not no offense, not a teenager, right? Because you go to a lot of these restaurants and they put a teenager as the face of their business. Now this teenager is what behind the ears still, and they don't have that customer service. Now develop that teenager behind a manager, right? But your manager knows your flow, knows when your kitchen is drowning, should know your whole business, and they should control the flow of your business and control the greeting of your business. Now, something I did that was the special sauce at the Avenue was my greeter was my manager, yes. And my manager would sell you appetizers, right? And, you know,
It was that person who sold the appetizer.
Yeah.
They took your appetizers and drinks.
No, drinks, I would leave it for my waitress.
Okay.
So I had a little formula there.
Okay.
My manager will sell you the appetizers. She'll get you up, sell you a brisket nacho for $16, a quesadilla for $16, and egg roll. You're at $54, let's say, right? And the waitress still hasn't said hi to you. Now the waitress is at, let's say 20%. You know, she's already at $10.80 in tips, and she hasn't said hello to you yet.
Yeah.
So I insured her job too, and I insured her tips there because I never did a pre-grant, right? So, and I'm not going for the tip. I'm not going for the money. I'm giving you quality. I'm giving you food.
100%.
I want to open the door with my shareables, right?
Yeah.
Because I built an avenue built off shareables. Like
Yeah.
I wanted everybody to try something. Why? Because Nick might try nacho, might not like it, but he might try, John's quesadilla, and you might fall in love with it. Now you're coming back because you didn't have a bad experience.
Gen salad.
Huh?
The Gen salad.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's how I do it. So then my waitress would come out, sell you drinks, and go over the entrees. So it was a system that I had in place, and then I had food runners. So I departmentalized my business where I had food runners. Food runners are the last line of defense. My expo. Expediting is where all the food comes out in the kitchen. So those people make sure all the food looks presentable to our quality, our highest quality. And if it doesn't, and if they'll try to spruce it up in the window, if not, they'll hand it back to the kitchen and ask politely for another one or to have it fixed up before they send it out. So that was a big deal. So that's my last line of defense before it hits the table. And then when they drop at the table, I want a little, hello, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Great choice. Here's your Korean tacos. Make sure you pop those limes off, squeeze them right on top.
They always give you an idea what works good with it.
100%. And if they don't do that, they're not part of the meal. Even my servers, I'll tell them if there's 3 people at the table, guess who's number 4? You got to be a part of their experience. Don't sit down with them because, you could get written up, but, definitely be a part of the experience, right? And if you're not, then you're not doing nothing for that customer. There's no reason they should come back because there's a lot of stats that say that if a customer comes the first time to your restaurant and has a remarkable experience, right? Chances of them coming back are probably 50 to 60%, maybe. Chances of them coming back again and having a great experience are probably now 60 to 70%. Third time is when you really win them. So consistency is very key. You could close your eyes at the Avenue, pick anything on the menu, and it's a winner. Yeah. And I feel like a 28-item menu at the Avenue is what made us succeed. Now, don't forget, I have 130 seats there. I only have 28 items. I have the same amount of items that MIT29 has on their menu.
Yeah.
So that's what got me to succeed. And a lot of people, they have 70, 80 items on their menu. You
get confused.
You're confused.
You kind of don't want to pick anything.
No. And you can't tell me that your menu's a winner because there's got to be some mediocre things on there, right? And there's got to be a lot of pressure on your kitchen. What are you doing to those damn poor cooks, right? You're drowning them.
Right.
I mean, how much you're going to memorize? And the waitresses, the servers, the bartenders, they're not going to have an input no more because now they're confused as much as your customer is.
Yeah.
So those are takeaways that I have from the business. Those are things I learned.
So to get a system like that where it's a well-oiled machine and everyone's operating the same way, do you believe in micromanaging?
I slightly micromanage.
Yeah.
I can't say I don't. I think I get it from my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe in there's a few school of thoughts.
Yeah.
And one of them is micromanage until they get it. Once they get it, let them go.
That's it.
Hands off.
Yes.
And
then they become the micromanager, and they do what you did to them.
Yep.
And they replace themselves.
Exactly.
I believe in replacing yourself, right?
Yes.
And I would say I'm a little meticulous, and that could be why I micromanage a little bit. But I think that anything's possible. Anything you want to do, you can do. I hate the word can't, right? I hate when anybody tells me the word can't, because I feel like you already took yourself out of the circle right there. And I try to not use that with my staff, and I try to develop them. But at the same time, I do have, like at the Avenue, you couldn't take the floor as a server if you didn't have a 50-minute meeting. So a 50-minute meeting
That was my next question.
Yes.
So how often do you meet with the team?
every single day.
Every day.
Every single day. Every shift.
What does a 15-minute meeting consist of?
It consists of a smile first. Check everybody's smiles. The person giving the meeting never sits down with the staff. They're standing up, and they're actually developing every one of them. And they target them for stuff that they think that they could do better, and they pat them on the back for everything they've done good. So not just an approach of just, slap them on the butt the whole time. No, you got to pat them on the back, tell them thank you, and then, you kick them in the butt and tell them this is what you can do better.
So you check everyone's smiles.
Of course. The first thing, smile.
Love
and then
that.
voice. We go over smiles. We make sure everybody's got their teeth showing, right? And then after that, we go over voice. Project your voice. If I hear somebody say, what are you saying? I can't hear you, and I'm right next to you.
Yeah.
How's this customer going to hear you? And that's a lack of confidence sometimes with people, or something they never developed, right? So you got to look at it like that, and you got to try. So I tell them, turn on some Adele on the way to work and sing along. Build that voice before you come in. Bring it out of that soul, because, that confidence in speaking up definitely creates a better experience. And it makes a sale, right? And that's what you're in the business for.
We start every meeting. We meet every Tuesday for about an hour and a half. And we start every meeting with tell us something good. And we go around the table, and everyone's got to tell us something good.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. So it starts off something good.
Proactive, positive.
Proactive, positive.
Yeah.
100%.
And the first thing that's positive is a smile.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't smile at me, how are you going to smile at the customer? If you can't talk loud right now, how are you going to talk loud there?
Yeah.
If you're going to tell me, well, we'll ask them, tell me about the Korean taco. And they'll be like, well, if you want me to. And I'm like, no, if you want to. We definitely engage. And in the beginning of the Avenue, what I did was I set goals. So you sell 10 tacos, you get a $4 bonus, and then every taco after that, you get $1. So they were a partner with my menu in the beginning. Once I saw that the development worked and the sales were great, I pulled that away, and they were doing it on their own. And then their tips spoke for themselves. Like, people at the Avenue made $300 to $500 a day in tips, more than me sometimes, right? But I didn't care, because I wanted my employees to make more money than me. In the beginning, I didn't care. I wasn't in it. I've never been a money grabber. I've never been attached to money.
Yeah.
I've been attached to the smile on the customer's face. Hey, this is the best place we've ever been to. The reviews we get, right? I've turned plenty of 1-star reviews to 5-star reviews.
How?
By contacting the customer and responding the right way, genuinely, right? Some of them were, 80% I would get were probably stuff that they waited in line too long, or they couldn't make a reservation, or they came and we were closed on a holiday, like things that you wouldn't think that you would get bad review for, I got. And some of them were legitly for maybe a bad service day I had, maybe a bad food day I had, maybe, somebody messed up the recipe one day, so that made me tweak my system a lot more. And I did that, and I every time I adjust something after I get some feedback on it, because I think that feedback's the best thing you can get. I've never been offended by feedback, but I've been offended by I won't give it a try again,
So I think it's very important you mentioned that, because one thing I learned at a very young age is there was an incident happened at a gas station, and the owner, it's one customer, the guy owned a lot of gas stations. Like, you don't really think it mattered. This guy wouldn't stop until he found the person who had the complaint. And he talked to him, and he apologized. And I don't know what he did. And I asked him, like, with the one customer, I get a customer's always right. He said, one customer with a bad experience will tell 10 people not to go. If you have a good experience, they might tell one person. So it's very important to focus on the people who are not happy.
100%. That's well said.
And whether it's a gas station, whether it's real estate, whether it's a restaurant, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Customer service is everything.
It is. And that guy had layers and layers of business. And people need his business, right?
100%.
They need his whatever he's selling, his product, his gas, his water, his cigarettes.
How many people walk through a gas station every day? Every day, every minute, there's 10 people. You'd think he'd let it go, but no.
That's great.
And I took that and I said that, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's a good businessman.
For sure.
And that's what we strive to be. People like that really amaze me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all these systems and models and do you have a mentor? Where do you did someone mentor you in the restaurant business?
I mean, I observed a lot, right?
Okay.
Wherever I worked at Subway as a kid. I worked at 8 years old, I was selling candy out of my garage.
Yeah.
I would buy from the corner store and sell in my garage. So nobody taught me that, right? I just knew I had the grit in me the whole time. I knew I wanted to work. I was a paper boy. I worked at Subway. I worked at an oil change. I worked at a gas station. All those bosses I had, I would observe what they're doing. I would watch how they sell. Some of them were my cousins. Some of them were, friends of my brother. So I would always watch what they do and take away everything good from them and eliminate everything that they had that was bad.
100%.
Yes. And I looked at observation of everything. And a lot of people, I'm like, you got to observe. Like, if you don't see me doing this and you're not, like, I'll work at a business when I first open it for 90 days, right? And if I don't develop the staff there, I don't develop a replacement for myself or one of my partners, either I failed them or they just didn't pay attention, right? And I feel like I get offended when they don't pay attention because I feel like I tell them too sometimes, I'm paying you, I'm teaching you, and make it make sense. Like, I'm giving you all the tools you need, and I'm giving you opportunity because at the end of the day, I don't want to work any of my employees and throw them away and say, hey, I just use your time and thank you very much. No, I want them to grow with me. And if they give me the opportunity and they have the patience with me, they'll see that there's a lot of growth with me and my partnerships.
Which is a great way. You want people to build in your system.
Of
you want
course.
them to grow in your system.
Of course.
As people who you're around get better, you want to have more opportunities for them, which is huge.
It is.
So you said you looked at everybody and it's so funny because you can learn from a different business that has nothing to do with yours, and you can learn so much from it, especially in Dearborn. There's so many people you can, learn from.
Yes.
And I agree 100%.
And believe it or not, since my Subway days on Greenfield and Michigan Avenue, the Subway I was there back in the day, I was super busy.
Yeah.
I was doing co-op from high school. I was going there and working.
Yeah.
But I've never worked in Dearborn since that time.
Really?
This is my first time back in Dearborn, and Unburger was my first time back in Dearborn.
I wanted to ask you, so what is the difference between business in Dearborn and business outside of Dearborn? Because now you're doing a few things in Dearborn, but I mean, I don't know if they gave you a plaque from the city of Wayne, but you don't go to Wayne unless you're going to Avenue.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between inside of Dearborn and outside of Dearborn?
I mean, Wayne, I kind of felt like I owned the city.
Yeah.
It's a small city.
Was there 100 people?
There, right? There's 10,000 people, and probably 60% of them are over the age of 60.
I'm surprised there's 10,000 people.
And I barely got, maybe I saw 5% of Wayne at the Avenue once a month.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So if I was depending on Wayne, I would have failed.
Yeah, but it's in the middle. It's very central.
It's in the middle. It's very central to Canton, Westland, Ann Arbor, Ipsy, Dearborn, and then before I remodeled it in 2020, I did a few remodels there. I opened it. So I had a hair salon in Wayne. My dad bought a plaza. Long story short, the lady of the hair salon, the owner, passed away, God rest her soul. My dad white boxed him and my brother, and they threw me in there as a manager. You know nothing about here. There's one tanning bed in there my brother bought from Millennium and Schaefer. They bought it from Maud, and he threw it in there. And, I started managing this hair salon, and I started cutting hair eventually because people walked out on me, right? And I cut hair, and, I did a good job, and I would
teach yourself?
Yeah, I taught myself. Observation. I would get haircuts and look at the barber, what he's doing to my hair. So at the end of the hair salon, at the end of the haircut where it came in, I would wash their hair, shampoo it, dry them up, style it for them, and I would get a tip, and they would come back the next week and ask for me. And I hired a barber in my place, and I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm retired as a Jimmy now, right? So that's what happened there. And then from that tanning bed, I opened a tanning salon. And from that tanning salon, I was supposed to open another tanning salon in Novi with my partner at the Avenue, Tony, my partner from day one. And the restaurant next door, restaurant bar, was like a biker bar, closed down and caught on fire, smoke damage, 2007. I'm like, Tony, why don't we look into opening a restaurant here?
2007, it's like right before the crash.
Yeah, right before the crash. Okay. So Tony and I kept thinking about it, kept going back and forth. And by 2009, we said, let's do it. And we opened it up. We didn't open up, we remodeled it. And then I borrowed $7,000 from my sister, Sada. She goes, take the $7,000, flip it. I was buying and selling cars with Wisa Misa at Financial.
Really?
And she's like, flip it. And I'm like, okay. So she goes, once you flip it, bring me back the money. So I flipped it in like a week and a half, right? And I came back to give her $7,000. She's like, no, it's yours now.
Wow.
Keep flipping it until you get the money to open the Avenue. And I kept flipping it, and I never told my dad I was the owner there. I told him my dad was a landlord. I told him he was the owner because there was liquor there.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell my dad. So for a year, my dad thought I was managing it for Tony.
Wow.
And I finally broke the news to him, and he's like, listen, it's not good to sell it, but when you're ready to give it up, before you get married, make sure you sell it.
Yeah.
Make sure you get away from alcohol, yada, yada, yada. And then I kept it in the back of my head. I'm like, you know what? I want to transition this place into a restaurant.
Okay.
It was like a Buffalo Wild Wings in the beginning.
Okay.
Sports Grill. And I kept transitioning into a restaurant. By 2016, I killed the nightlife in it, kind of. 2018, I started closing at 10, even though I could have had a crowd till 2 a.m. And then I remodeled it lightly in 2016, and I remodeled it fully in 2020, right before COVID, a month before COVID. SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
And then everybody shut down and followed me.
Wow.
I shut down in February. They all shut down in March.
Wow.
And I
Great
remodeled it.
timing.
Yes, great timing. And my remodel was, even though I had a lot of Dearborn customers back then, I wasn't fully halal yet. I was just my chicken. And then I decided to go fully halal, and I decided to build a destination. And with the colors, the branding that Mo Abdullah helped us with, Linda Baidoon, and the team that we had, Tony and I ended up contracting it and finishing it ourselves. And then we brought one of our good friends and Chef Aaron on board, and we opened it back up. And, we had a good team there with Stevie and the rest of the group. And we blew it up, and we went viral in 2021.
Man, that's what do you say took you guys to the next level? Consistency.
Effort.
Yeah.
And like when everybody gave up on me, I didn't give up.
Yeah.
And people did give up. When anything got tough, people ran away from me. And we stayed standing. The core team stayed standing, and we were resilient enough, and we got through it. And I cooked, I ran food, I cleaned bathrooms, I cleaned tables, I bartended, I served. I did anything. Yeah. I wasn't above anything, and I'm still not above anything.
Yeah. I think a lot of what you said has a lot to do with mindset.
It does.
It has a lot to do with mindset. So right now in real estate, we're in a market where a lot of people, if you ask people how's the market, they're like very hesitant, like what you said about voice. They're very hesitant. I think, to be honest, we're having the best year ever, but because it's mindset. You know what I mean? We're resilient. We intend to have the best year ever. It's not an accident. You intended to be a destination. You didn't open it and say man, I hope this works. No, you said, I'm going to build this restaurant and everyone's going to come here. And it was mindset.
It is.
And you have that energy.
You got to believe it.
100%.
You got to believe it in order for you to do it, and in order for it to come into fruition, right? And you, at the end of the day, you're not rolling the dice. You already saw this vision, right? And a lot of people don't see the vision that you might see or I might see. So, kudos to you and what you've done in the real estate world.
Thank you.
Because you've done a lot. You've had a lot of impact. You've definitely punched through a few walls.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm actually putting something. A few videos I said I'm putting it, but I'm putting it this week. I got it from the internet. It's like 4 posters, and it's vision.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the most important thing in business. You have to see it.
It is.
No matter what it is, no matter what kind of business, you have to see the vision.
100%.
You have to.
And I mean, just talking about Boardwalk now, right? At Boardwalk, the old Andiamo, we were supposed to do a food hall.
Yeah.
I tested the market. I did a food truck park for 2021.
I remember.
I did a food truck park. That helped me a little bit because it took me away from the avenue. I was so stuck at the avenue. It's like I had glue on my feet.
Yeah.
Right?
You couldn't leave.
I couldn't leave.
You couldn't replace yourself.
Yeah. I didn't know if I wanted to leave. I couldn't leave. I didn't know. I was just in love with that place, and I felt like I didn't want to leave one plate coming out of the window without me seeing it. Right. Yeah. That's how much passion I have with food and with any business I touch. But I tested the market there. I got some food trucks there. They all succeeded.
Before we go into, because I really want to hear about the Boardwalk, how did you get yourself away from being able to not see every plate? Because in any business, that's very important. Replacing yourself and being able to trust the people who you have around you. What changed and how did you change that?
Okay, so I mean, I stood at the window for so long that I was worse than border patrol. Right? You couldn't get past. They knew they couldn't get past me a plate if it didn't look good. So repetition made my staff a lot better.
So the micromanage, let them go.
Yeah, let them go.
So that works.
And it worked.
Okay.
And it worked because I held them accountable to the high standard, right? Yeah. So I tell my staff a lot too, and I don't just beat them up. I tell them I can't see more potential in you than you can see in yourself.
Right.
You got to see a potential in you. You got to make sure you're giving the customer. This is not for me. They're like, I got you. I'm like, no, you don't got me. You got Jill and Jack at table 1. That's who you got.
Right.
You don't got me. We got the avenue. And then they call me boss. Like, that's the worst phrase I hate.
Yeah.
Is hey, boss. I'm not a boss. The avenue's a boss.
Yeah.
Eikbar's a boss. Unberger's a boss. The brand is a boss.
The Boardwalk's going to be the boss.
Yes, right? I'm not the boss.
Yeah.
So, with repetition comes greatness, I think.
100%.
And a lot of people are like, you believe so-and-so opened this business and he had no experience and now look at him? I'm like, yeah, because repetition. He got good. Like
100%.
Nobody's good at anything. Like nobody was born with a mortgage company in their hand. Nobody's born with a real estate key in their hand. Nobody had a key to nothing.
100%.
Everybody makes a key. They develop themselves and then they end up getting better with experience.
So I'm a part of it's called a Superstar group. I'm the youngest one. They're all like 60 and older. They're from around the country.
That's huge.
California, Florida, Washington, D.C., and they're from all over. And there's one guy who does probably $200 million a year in California. And the person who is my mentor, who holds the group, his name is Bob Boland. And Michael from California, all he sells is $4 or $5 million properties, and he sells a lot of them. He's the number one cold wall banker, real estate agent in California. And he said, I've never seen someone walk into an appointment and have such a high success rate as Bob. He said, no matter if they have a family member, if they already gave someone their word they're going to hire him, when this person walks into their living room, he's getting the job 100%. And I asked him, like, what's the key to that? And he said, I've done it a million times. That's it. It's repetition.
Exactly.
I've done it a million times. That's it.
Yeah.
And he knows he's done it a million times. And a lot goes into it, obviously. Like you said, the mindset, the vision, the confidence. But if you do it right a million times, no matter what it is, you're golden.
Because there's no BS behind it.
Right.
You know, it's a build. It's a foundation.
100%.
Foundation from the ground up.
You know it's in people's best interest to eat your food.
100%.
It's in their best interest. Like, I truly believe if you're selling a property, it's in your best interest to call us. You believe if it's in your best interest to come to your restaurant, no matter which one it is.
Yes.
So
Because I'm never satisfied.
never.
Never.
Yeah,
like, you know, like,
for the right reason.
Yeah.
It's not about money.
No.
It's not about
I'm not satisfied about a product or a vendor I'm buying something from, or, you know, the quality of something that came into me, you know, like, or something that we made back there. Like, everything has to be A1.
100%.
Like, I don't take mediocre. Mediocre doesn't exist in my vocabulary.
100%.
Never.
Either you're first or you're last.
That's it. And you have to strive for that. And you know what? You know, you asked who my mentor was. Michael Jordan is one of my mentors.
Really?
Yeah.
What's one thing you took from Michael Jordan?
He never gives up.
Never gives up.
No. And he goes for the kill.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And I love going for the kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either you have it or you don't.
You know.
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they always went for the
Killer
kill.
instinct.
Killer instinct.
Yeah. They take the last shot. They have to.
100%. And they want it.
They want it.
100%.
Yeah. Then I want it. That's it.
100%.
I don't want the money that comes. Money comes with it. It's after.
After.
Right?
Last product.
And if it comes after, it comes after. If it
100%.
doesn't, at least I got the experience and I got to say, you know, I accomplished this.
100%.
Yeah.
Same mindset.
Yes.
Back to the Boardwalk. Explain how it started and what can we expect from the Boardwalk, because we're excited.
So Aboudi Baidoun was the one that picked up the property first.
Okay.
At Ali Jawad. And, you know, Aboudi approached me about 2-3 times at the Avenue, and Tony and I kept saying no. You know, not for anything. We like Aboudi's a great guy. Ali Jawad's a great guy. Great partnership. Really. The best two guys I've ever worked with. But we just didn't want to take on anything that big. And Aboudi was pushing me to put the Avenue number 2 there. I'm like, Aboudi, they drive past that building to come to Avenue. Why would I compete against myself?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I kept thinking about it. And then we were going to do co-working in a food hall. And then it got kind of, you know, hairy with, you know, how it was going to work, who we were going to bring in. Like, I thought about bringing in other vendors, some of them that were great and I trusted 100%, and some of them that I never worked with. And, you know, they could have came out of uniform. You know, their employees could have came in shorts.
You're not in control.
I didn't have control, right?
tell them.
And I was terrified of that. And then on top of that, I would tell them my vision, and I'll be like, you know, after you hit $750,000 a year, I'm going to start charging you royalty, you know. And I had a cheap rep for them, yada yada yada. And I was going to have it formatted perfectly, because when it comes to cleaning, we're number one. When it comes to customer service, we're number one, because we strive for that every time, right? So, you know, people just didn't see my vision. And I'm like, you know, I even tested the parking lot with food trucks, and the food trucks did great. Some food trucks doing, you know, $10,000-$15,000 a weekend.
Wow.
For 15 hours.
Wow.
You know, so that was huge. And I saw that demand. So I'm like, man, Andiamo still has a demand. The building still has demand for food. So I was going to do a food hall. I backed away from that, thank God. And not for any reason. I trust myself and my team more, right? So, you know, you got the canteen opening up, which is going to be a great project. It's a great location. You got Moby opening up the gallery. Those two were kind of, you know, something I was going to do, and I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore, because more power to them, right? And now I can do something different. And I feel like entering West Dearborn, the first thing you want to see is something, you know, glamorous.
You have to.
Right?
Right now, West Dearborn is on fire.
It is. It's on fire.
I think
Disconnect is what?
Disconnect
Is the Brady. The Brady Street, where Andiamo is.
Yeah.
Where the
100% stops there.
That's a disconnect.
100%.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. So I feel like once I activate that, what I'm doing there is fine dining,
Really?
restaurants.
Okay.
One menu.
Does anyone know this?
I mean, I haven't really talked about it much.
Okay. Well, we're gonna blow this up.
Definitely.
We're gonna get
yes,
this.
Yes. It'll be open by March 2025.
Okay.
Yes. I know I took a long time, but you know, all the delays were a blessing in disguise. I'm doing 4 fine dining restaurants on one menu. I'm doing a Pan Asian, I'm doing a Aegean Moroccan. I'm doing I'm paying homage to Andiamo. I'm doing a dough room, pasta, pizza. And I'm doing a deli, like Cat's Deli from New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I rented out to Paris Baguette next door, the Czar family.
I've seen that.
Yeah, they're doing Paris Baguette. I didn't want to mess with coffee, and, pastries, and desserts and all that. So they're the masters behind that, and it's a nice collab.
What are you gonna call it?
The Boardwalk.
Oh, the Boardwalk.
Yeah.
Got
Boardwalk Marketplace.
Is it gonna be? How is it gonna be set up? Is it gonna be one side
All like
coffee?
Cole's kitchens. So you get to see it's theatric. I want to bring Dubai and Vegas and Miami here. I feel like we don't have any of that.
Right.
Everything is just eat and go.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna have some entertainment there. I'm gonna have a sunken lounge with a fireplace in the middle. It's gonna give you that Michigander feel.
That's
Not the
exciting.
Detroit feel, not the Ford Motor Company feel, because we have Ford Garage across the street, and they're doing great, and they're a destination. I barely see anybody from Dearborn go there. So we want that same approach, and we want Dearborn as well, of course. Dearborn is great. I'm a native of Dearborn, and I have nothing better than my community.
That's
I feel like
awesome.
making that destination, pulling from Metro Detroit, is really important to me.
That's it, March 2025.
Yes.
That is exciting.
Yeah, that's about
So now these four
months away
restaurants.
from now?
Yeah, it's gonna go like this.
Just blink of an eye.
So the four restaurants, are they four different like operations, or it's just like four different menus, but there's one?
One menu, but 4 different genres.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So we want to bring a little bit of everything. I don't want to confuse you, but I'm gonna give like Moffat Ludlov's coming in from Nami Sushi. He's gonna be one of my partners there. We're talking to Francesca's Pizza right now to get involved with our pizzeria.
Where's Francesca's?
Brownstown.
I heard they're great.
He's great. Robbie's an awesome operator.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Italy, New York, trained. His ovens are from Italy.
Really?
So I'm working with the best of the best, and I always have. We're doing Dearborn Hills Golf Course as well.
Tell us about that.
Dearborn Hills is going to be definitely a nice spot. It's like J. Alexander's, probably a more casual setting of J. Alexander's.
Okay.
Yes, J. Alexander's is a very nice place. They're actually one of my role models for a business model.
They're very good.
Their service was great, at least before COVID, right? I feel like a lot of people dropped off after COVID. Standards went down, but I really looked up to J. Alexander's. I went there a lot to eat, and I got my service model from J. Alexander's.
Egg Bar just opened.
Yes.
The Boardwalk.
It's March 2025.
So that's in process.
Yeah.
I know your Unburger.
Unburger is a beautiful concept.
That's new.
Newer, yeah. I mean, Chef Chris opened it in 2018.
Right, but you are fairly new at it.
In 2022.
So
Harder than
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
So, and the Dearborn
Hills.
Hills.
So Dearborn Hills is going to be Birdie's restaurant.
Okay.
Birdie's, no pun intended with the word,
Uh-huh.
golf, right? And then we're doing food and beverage there, and then we're also doing a banquet, 120-seat banquet.
Nice.
Yes.
That's what is it gonna open?
That's going to open by September.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And partnership there is my brother, Ali, which has a lot of experience in the Ali's restaurants. I don't know if you remember them?
Yeah.
Abudi Baidoun as well. And Tony, my road dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet this guy, Tony.
Yeah, Tony's awesome. You'll love him.
Tony is low key.
Yeah. Tony's low key.
Well, I mean,
Behind the scenes, he's a sauce behind the recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this stuff, how do you do it? How do you make?
So we have operators everywhere. Like we're fortunate enough that Ray's operating this place. Ray's doing a great job. Ray comes from a medical background, the Lululemon background. He's never been in food, but he has a hand for it. He has a great voice for customer service. He's relentless. He doesn't give up. He'll do whatever it takes to succeed. We have Chef Ali working with us. At Unburger, I have a great staff there, a great core team. I have Sarah, Marianne, and Billy that manage it, and Chef Chris is there, my partner. He's overseeing the day-to-day operations as well. And then Boardwalk is going to be our operation.
Boardwalk going to be very hands-on.
Out of retirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm already out of retirement at Egg Bar and Unburger.
Yeah.
Yesterday I worked at Egg Bar, then I worked at Unburger.
Okay.
I don't mind working on the line.
Yeah.
I love the line. I love serving one item.
You love the rush?
I love the rush.
Yeah.
That's like my high.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with not drinking or no drugs. Give me a restaurant rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good peak hour would get me through.
And it teaches you rushes like that in business. If you're prepared, it's easy.
It is.
It's easy.
It
If
is.
you're unprepared, it's a disaster. But that's in real estate too. If you know you have 10 things to do tomorrow or 20 things on your list and 5 appointments and you're not proactive and you don't delegate accordingly, you're in for a nightmare.
Of course.
You're in for a nightmare.
How do you delegate accordingly?
So first thing I do when I get to my office every morning, I get there at 7. At 7:07, so like right now, if someone texts me and I have to be reminded of something, I'll set a reminder. And I say, remind me at 7:07 a.m. to call Karl Makki. So at 7:07, I get all my reminders. and I write down everything on a piece of paper.
Why do you write it down on a piece of paper?
So it's funny you ask. Someone sent me Coach Niz, Central Michigan coach, sent me a picture the other day of a book he's reading, and it said a guy went up to J.P. Morgan Chase and told him, "I have for you the key to success in life, and I want $25,000 for it." And J.P. Morgan Chase said, "You have my word. If I like what you have to say, I'll just write you a check right now for $25,000. Let me read it." Yeah. He opened the envelope. He wrote him a check for $25,000 and said, "Thank you." And on the envelope, on the paper, it said, "Write down all your tasks for the day, number one, and number two, do them." That's it. That's the key to success. That's it. And I love shadowing people who are much older, much experienced, and much better. And every single time I've been in their office, there's always a yellow notepad.
I love the yellow notepad.
Always, always. I shadowed a guy in Boston. We met with a guy who owns hundreds of gas stations and commercial properties in Ohio. Notepad. Another guy who I visited for the first time in his office, Haj Ali Fayez.
Yeah.
Notepad. And I don't say anything.
Yeah.
I just look, and there's always a notepad.
Yeah.
So at 7:07 a.m., I write down all the tasks, and I circle the top three. Priority, and I delegate what I can, whether to a team member, administration staff, and I try to, and I get to the office at 7, so I can do whatever I can before 9 o'clock.
Of course.
Because no one's gonna call.
Yes.
Once 9 o'clock hits, it's over.
Yes.
Like people get to the office at 9 o'clock, you're you got anxiety, you got missed tasks, you're way behind.
Yes.
So I see what I can delegate, do everything I can before 9. No appointments before 12. Try not to, except every Wednesday at 10:30 I have a call, and yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the point.
That's the key to success. As simple as that.
Yeah.
But it's hard for people to do.
Yeah,
And a lot of my partners do that, pen and paper. Mo Abdullah does that. Yeah, I don't know if you know Mo Abdullah with 8 Media.
I don't, but I hear great things about
Yeah,
it.
he's great. Like, he does the pen and paper thing.
Really?
Tony does that. The chef does that. All of us carry out.
I see this pen and
Yeah,
paper.
and then Chef Aaron does that too. All of us have a notepad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the yellow one, to be
Yeah,
exact, mine.
yeah. So I keep, I don't know why, I like to keep note papers on my desk, but I have books of everything I read, and there's a stack of them in the corner of my office. But I got a yellow notepad the other day because I said, after the third guy I seen who has the yellow notepad, I said, I need the yellow notepad. Maybe it's like something about the yellow notepad. So
That's all observation. So back to observation.
100%.
Everywhere you go, you're seeing the same magic, right?
100%.
The key to success.
All the way back to going to Avenue, and the same person greets me every time and asks me for, repetition, and I observe.
Yes.
And
that's what made us successful there, honestly, is that consistency, service. Like, a lot of people say, yeah, the food is good, but the service, man.
I know.
Like, we had comments that, like, people didn't know who their server was. Because they'd be like, I don't know who my server was, but I had great service. I'm like, that's good. That's okay. Because 8 people, so I don't like burning out faces. So if you're having dinner at any of my restaurants, especially not the QSRs, like dine-in, full dine-in, I don't like to burn one face.
What do you mean?
I feel like if you see the same server 10 different times at your table, no matter how beautiful he or she is, you're going to get sick of that face. You're going to get sick of that voice, and it becomes a little bit dull to you.
Yeah.
So that's why I bring 8 different people, not only for the face being burnt out, but the 16 eyes that I'm bringing on your table. It's more for the eyes, right? So those 16 eyes see 16 different things probably. Like a silverware that needs to be replaced, a plate that needs to be replaced, something that needs to be bought, a refill, maybe another purchase on a beverage. Any of those things might happen from 16 different eyeballs being on your table.
And when you're walking around the avenue, when the workers are walking around, they're always looking.
Yeah.
When you go to a subpar, to I don't want to say shitty, but bad restaurant, shitty restaurant, I don't know why, the servers, maybe they get overwhelmed, maybe they're understaffed, maybe they're, I don't know, they won't look at you. At Avenue, they're always looking at you. You know what I mean? They're looking to see who needs what. And it's like, because how many times you're at a restaurant, you're like, please, I just need ranch. I need ranch. Please, anybody, ranch. But at Avenue and other good restaurants that are in the area, they look to see who needs something.
So our motto is break your neck. Put your head on the spindle.
Break your neck.
Keep your head moving.
Yeah.
If you got this table and there's this table, this table, this table, this table around, if you don't, even if they're not your table, if you don't look at them because they're in your area, you are gonna be talked to by our manager. You're gonna be reprimanded.
Yeah.
Like, it's important to us. Again, all these things are the key to success.
For sure.
I think that anybody like opening a business shouldn't open it because of money. Shouldn't open it because they made a good sandwich at home. You know, that's not why you open a restaurant.
100%.
Like, invite your friends over more often.
Right.
Don't open a restaurant.
Right.
You know, you don't know what it takes. And if you don't know what it takes, educate yourself before doing so. So again, those little things, structure, systems, uniforms, research, development, making sure that that's something you want to do.
Right.
Because you could want to do it for a week. You open it up, it's a whole different idea than what you thought it was going to be.
100%.
Right. So that's important to me.
100%.
And I don't like, I don't like people that, do business the wrong way. I think it offends me because it's, deceiving.
So it was always my dream to open a car wash. And I sold a few car washes because I know the business and I love commercial. I sold a few car washes, got a car wash accepted for my client, ended up becoming a partner. And it was 3 investors. And it was always a dream, like you said, don't open it because you want to, you think it's exciting. After 1 year of understanding, hey, this is not how, like, these guys, they do their thing and they're very good at it. Me, I do real estate. We try to do our best and we try to perfect it. If you're not there, you're not doing business the right way, I said, like, forget money or not. This is not how to operate.
No.
If you're not doing the right way, I don't want to.
Of course.
If someone's going to go somewhere to support me, to do me a favor, I don't want it.
Exactly.
I want them to come because they're supporting themselves.
Yes, and you're doing them a favor.
100%.
By servicing them.
100%.
By giving them the best product.
100%.
You said that so I always tell a lot of people, they're like, well, I do it my way. You do it your way. I'm like, no. There's not my way and your way. There's a right way and there's a wrong way.
Very simple.
There's no gray area. So
No.
I don't like, I'm always black and white with a lot of things, right? But I do pay my staff well. I do take care of my staff. Like, financially, I think it's very important that you take care of your staff. It's very important that you offer them health benefits. Like, we offer Blue Cross in our restaurants. Even at Unburger, even at Egg Bar, we offer Blue Cross. We offer Humana Dental Vision. Like, we take care of our staff because why would I want them to go shopping somewhere else for a job? Why? If I got them, you know how long it takes to replace them?
Yeah.
You know how long it takes to build somebody their position if they're good? Like, shame on you for not wanting to give them an extra $10,000 a year.
100%.
Shame on you for not bonusing them out. Shame on you for not taking care of them because they're taking care of your business. I don't see a problem with that. So I just think that once somebody gets to the place of replacing me, they deserve more.
100%.
And I continue to give them opportunity, and I continue to think of them for future projects. Because at the end of the day, I want a lot of these people to open up their own Egg Bars and Unburgers. I want to manage the Boardwalk. I want to manage Dearborn Hills. I want to do other things with my team. Because I feel like I'm just as good as my team. Even the person on grill, like, he's more important to me than, just as important to me as my partner.
Yeah.
So that's how I operate. That's how I look at things.
In return, the fact that you don't do it for the money helps. So you give them extra money, you let them grow so you can do more things that you enjoy.
Of course.
And have more time for yourself to do things you want.
100%.
And people don't understand that, And I think I think us younger generation, we're getting better at it, of learning to delegate and to put someone here, put someone there, so you can do what you want.
But your list has some delegating in your list, right?
Yeah.
You don't delegate
As much as we
you're
can.
in trouble, yeah.
100%.
And I don't sometimes I'm like, I don't need an assistant, but I need people to what they do the best to do it.
You don't have an assistant?
I don't have an assistant.
You need an assistant.
Yeah, I'm looking for one.
Okay, I have 3 virtual.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's the best.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
need somebody.
would you consider virtual?
Yeah, why not?
It's a great idea.
Consider anything.
Yeah. So how we run our business is when someone joins the team, they don't ever write paperwork. No offers, no uploading listings, no nothing. You free time. It frees up their time. We delegate as much as we can to assistants.
Wow.
You need an assistant.
Yes,
There's
I do.
no way that I have an assistant and you don't.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Sometimes it's hard for me to. By the time I explain what they need to do, I did it already.
You're a good delegator. You need an
yeah.
assistant.
No, I am. I'm a
You
good
probably need 2.
Yeah.
You probably need 2.
I probably need to. Yeah.
Man, that's
bigger-
crazy.
yeah.
100%.
So we have some plans, and hopefully I could get a virtual assistant from you.
Yeah.
And I could free up my day a little bit more.
For sure.
How about would they cook?
But they,
No.
no, they won't
And
cook.
deliver the food?
They won't cook.
Yeah.
They won't cook. But they could figure out something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
2024, I don't know.
right.
Figure out something.
That's changed it. We've got a robot arm now that grills her. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, Karl, before we sign off, is there anything that you'd like to give advice to someone who might be watching this at any stage of their life, looking to get into business or something in general?
I mean, honestly, be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Not hard to the point where you're pulling your hair out, but hard to the point where you're reflecting on your day.
Yeah.
Where you analyze everything. Where you try to be a better version of yourself the next day. Try to develop people around you, because I felt like that developed me a lot more. Don't be against learning, right? It's like some people don't want to go to school, that's fine. But don't be against learning, because you could develop every single day by reading a book, by joining a seminar, by listening to your podcast, and other podcasts out there, right? I think educating yourself is very important, and I think it doesn't always have to be through school.
Right.
Yeah, and like I didn't go to school because I didn't want to go to school for a business degree.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I was going to be in 6 figures in debt, and I figured that if I learned on my own and fail and trial and error, I was going to succeed. And by the time somebody graduated with a bachelor's degree with business, I already beat them, because I'm already in my own business, and I did that.
100%.
Yeah. And I feel very honorable. And one thing that somebody should do is, my biggest key to success is waking up for morning prayer on time and starting my day out like that. And I feel like I can't be defeated no more.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very inspiring.
Sure you do that.
Not as much as I should. Not as much as I should.
You wake up pretty early too.
I do. What time do you wake up every day?
Depends on sunrise. So
Yeah.
sometimes 5:30, sometimes 6.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I get up, start my day, drink some mushroom coffee.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier.
The best. It really is.
Before mushroom coffee, I usually drink some water,
Okay.
juice some celery. Celery is like a super electrolyte
Really?
and an antioxidant. Filters out your liver in the morning, and then you start your day like that. And your liver is probably one of your most important organs.
Yeah.
Because it sends messages to all your other organs.
For sure.
And I drink my mushroom coffee like you, and then I go ham on the rest of my day.
People sleep on the mushroom coffee.
do, yeah.
People next person to start drinking mushroom coffee, you might end up with 4 restaurants.
or be a badass realtor that's joining the $1 billion club.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So where do you get your mushroom coffee from?
My wife orders it from Amazon.
Okay, Rise?
I don't know. It's a blue one.
Okay, blue one.
There's different color
That's a
ones.
new picture.
Yeah, I
I
will.
just think it. Or think from BetterHelp.
There's some of them that I don't like.
Yeah, you
Some
can
of
use them differently too. Some
Yeah.
of them have different flavors.
Yeah.
Some of them are dark, medium, light
Yeah.
roast. Some of them do different things for you.
Right.
Like mine is all focus and energy.
Me too.
You good?
Me too. Yeah, it's great.
We're on the same thing.
Yeah,
We're on the same mindset,
100%.
same vision, same coffee.
100%.
Yeah.
Same coffee.
Yeah.
Carl, thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for
I
coming.
appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My man.
Looking forward to the next podcast.
Sounds good. Thank you for tuning in to episode 7. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, at least subscribe. Thank you.